South Africa's online retail has passed 50 billion rand milestone in 2022. This was largely driven by an ongoing boom in demand for home deliveries, amongst other factors. This is according to new research findings. We're going to be in conversation with founder of Worldwide Worx, Arthur Goldstuck, to unpack further. Arthur, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us here. I dare say Merry Christmas to you.
Good evening and a Merry Christmas to you and your listeners, Liesl.
Thank you so much. Perhaps you can really paint that picture in terms of, the contributing factors and really what has driven this number in terms of demand.
It really starts with the revolution in online shopping that we saw with the pandemic and with lockdown, and the need for people to buy goods that they couldn't get in stores, as well as the fact that they were nervous to go into stores. And it just so happened that at that point, Checkers launched a 60-minute delivery service, followed by all the other major grocery players who realized that they had to compete on that level. But the big shift was when people discovered that online shopping works, because up to that point, most South Africans didn't trust it from a security point of view, but also from a point of view of getting what they ordered. And suddenly, with them being forced to shop online, they discovered that this thing really works. And then it became a habit. And what we've now seen in the last 2 years is that it's gone far beyond groceries. And we are, in fact, finding that people are shifting their existing spending. So not spending more, but shifting their existing spending from offline to online shopping.
Absolutely. I think before we get into the trends that have emerged, perhaps I wanted to even look at whether this is surprising at this point, given the state of South Africa's economy.
It's not surprising. In fact, we did forecast it, and we were slightly conservative in our forecast. We thought that by the end of this year, it would reach around 52 billion rand, and we estimate now it's actually reached 55 billion rand in 2022. And the reason it's not surprising is because despite the fact that the economy is stagnant and overall retail is stagnant, people still have to buy products, they still have to shop. And what they're doing now is looking for the best deal, the best bargain, or the best value that they can find. And the most effective way of doing that is shopping online. Yeah. So it's not surprising that people have discovered that this is actually the best way to shop.
What has the role of Black Friday been in all of this? I know that when we look at reports from banks, this was really boosted, massive increases in card and online spending.
So last year we saw Black Friday making a big contribution percentage-wise in terms of the percentage growth of online retail in South Africa. Black Friday growth was massive. This year the growth wasn't so big, whereas total online retail grew by about 30%. On Black Friday over last year it grew by about 15%, but that still makes a big contribution. So we did see Black Friday giving it a boost, but not really being the transformative boost that it might have been if people had more disposable income.
Earlier on, you spoke about the changing consumer behavior. And on the back of that, perhaps as we project, for what's to come, what innovation are we then likely to expect in terms of online shopping, the online shopping evolution, changing consumer behavior, but also issues related to cybersecurity that many people, still have concerns over?
Well, we conducted the research with MasterCard's support, and MasterCard are saying that the big shift that they see is in the delivery environment, where we're seeing far more retailers looking at what they call omni-channel shopping. And it means that you can start shopping in one channel and finish your shopping in another channel. But that obviously requires serious security across all channels, and especially when you're hopping between channels. So credit card security in particular has become a key for all online retailers. If they can't guarantee that security, they're not going to get the customers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I wonder on the back of that, what percentage online retail, really makes in terms of the total retail in South Africa? But also what infrastructure is then going to be needed to accommodate more and more who migrate to that space? Is it going to penetrate informal markets as well?
It has already started penetrating informal markets in terms of the more underserviced areas, not necessarily your informal outlets at this stage, but certainly underserviced areas where several of the major retail chains have realized that they can start offering their service in those areas if they have an outlet in the area. But we're also seeing a lot of individual entrepreneurs starting to leverage, for example, WhatsApp as a sales channel. And that's also created a big shift. But in terms of overall percentage, the really interesting thing here is that in 2020, online retail made up about 2.8% of total retail, which sounds very small, but it had actually doubled over 2 years. This year it's almost doubled again, not quite, but we're at 4.7% of total retail in terms of what the projected size of South African retail is going to be for the year. So close to 5%, and there's no question next year we're going to break through that 5% mark. And that's psychologically a massive, massive barrier.
I actually wanted to allow you to rub your imaginary crystal ball and perhaps look at what that future forecast is going to be. I mean, earlier on you spoke about the total online retail comfortably surpassing 52 billion for 2022. So with this change in behavior, what's your imaginary crystal ball holding out for 2023?
It's going to be somewhere between 65 and 70 billion rand, we believe, which sounds like a lot, but it's again around 25 to 30% growth. Wow. That we expect.
Arthur, thank you very much for your time. Chag Sameach as well. Happy Christmas. Enjoy the rest of your day. Worldwide Worx and Worldwide Worx founder Arthur Goldstuck really weighing in on the back of the South African online retail report, which suggested that it had passed the 50 billion rand milestone in 2022. Again, thank you very much to Arthur for his time.